You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
This makes my nipples hard.
Hey there, and welcome to the show. Today, Paul and I are continuing our rankings. This time, that is such a funny word. This time we're talking SCI 1, because before, now here's where I always get confused. I'm like SCI games, but before we talked about SCI 0, which kind of went, what was that, like 89 to 91, was it, Paul?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And then now SCI 1, which is 1990 to 92. And I know a bunch of you are going to go, because I bet you there's going to be at least one of your favorite games somewhere in this set, because I know there's a few of mine.
Yes, exactly. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, I love it. I love how you started this one, because you're like, we're continuing with our rankings. Like, but like it's this massive like thesis that we've been trying to conclude for ages.
Yes. And now the game, The Phantom Fellows, is out. And as you can hear by the lilt in Paul's voice, there's just a little bit less stress in the air.
This is my first time having a lilt in my voice, actually. I'm gonna have to Google that one, but it sounds delightful. It sounds like how I feel. I feel lilty. And yes, it is such a relief. Thank you to everybody who's been just awesome, like overwhelmingly amazing. Everybody has stepped up in some sort of way to like be sweet or congratulatory or supportive, and just yeah, it's the good kind of overwhelming. Everyone's reception and the first review that came in, and just it's insane. So yeah, game's out, check, big old check. So but this episode is about old games. That's what we do. That's what we do around here. We do mostly some old games, and this is a horrible transition. Let's double down and stick with it though.
No, this is good. This is good. Keep it going. People are on the edge of their seat right now.
Right. What new old game are we going to talk about? Anna, we're covering 1990 to 1992. So this is here SCI 1 through other SCIs. Mm-hmm. I didn't do that much research on the SCI variations because it's all very just nerdy and pedantic. But I think we should actually, like, I don't want to say market this because it's not for sale, but we should sell this. That's also for sale. We should frame this as point and click. So we're into Sierra's point and click era now. That way we don't have to get too nerdy with like the engine and stuff like that. So we're ranking point and click Sierra games. We're gonna split this into two. We're gonna do 1990 to 1992, and then we're gonna do 93 onwards, because they break up into two groups of 12-ish. Pretty cleanly, 11-ish, and then we're also, just so you guys know, we're gonna do probably, I don't know, at some point we're gonna do the non-Sierra, non-LucasArts ranking as well, and then we'll have exhausted the ranking thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I went and I took like stock of my non-Sierra LucasArts adventure games, and I found out that almost all of them are either in a small box or a dual CD case.
Oh, I actually said a jewel CD case. It made it sound, yeah, that's nice.
It's fancy. Well, they are nice because I don't have enough cases, and I had to start stuffing things into those, the envelopes with the see-through front for CDs to go into. So I'm going to have to buy some more sweet dual CD cases.
Yeah. The ones you buy, they're always like super thin and weird though.
They are. I don't like those because they don't fit into. Yes, I do have one of the stackable CD shelves in my living room, and those mini ones, even if you put them two to a stackable shelf, they still don't quite work.
Yeah, they're always janky, the CD holder things. Yeah, they have like a little door that flops open, they all fall out. All right.
I'm going to like Amazon. I'm going to get a good one. I think I'll get the fat, not rectangle, squarish ones.
Yeah, shapes are hard. That's for
shapes
sure.
Are so hard. So I have, in preparation for this episode, my version of research, other than playing a few of these games, just to review them again, is to pull out every single big box. And I had my kids help me because some of them were high up on the wall that we're talking about, except for two of them, but I'm not going to reveal which two I don't have until we get to them.
That was the most elderly thing you've ever said on this show, for sure. I had my kids get them down for me.
I was too short and my boy's tall. I thought he was 6 feet tall, but he said at the driver's license place he's 5'11", and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's noble of him. I think 99% of 5'11" guys are 6 feet.
I think so too. I've never met a guy who's 5'11" before. This is my first one.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that was remarkably honest. Okay, so we're starting in the year 1990, and this is almost obviously the first Sierra point and click, at least on this level of nerddom that us and our listeners are in. Because if it's the first point and click, it's going to be their flagship King's Quest series, and this is the game that got all, King's Quest always got the special treatments. Like King's Quest 4 got MT32 for the first time. King's Quest 5 gets CD-ROM for the first time. Speaking of nerddom, I think Mix Up Mother Goose might have actually got the CD before King's Quest 5, but it doesn't matter because that may or may not have even made it on the list. Actually, I think I forgot. I'm realizing now that I forgot that. Or no,
I
we
haven't played it.
we
And no,
took
we
it
did
off
it on the other
because,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because we did
Mhm.
the other episode. Okay, right, cool. So King's Quest 5, Absence Makes the Heart Go Yonder. Anna, do you have a box for this? And if so, is it the adventurous mountaintop box, or is it the childlike Peter Pan, Michael Jackson-y looking box?
I have both. You just heard me
Good
opening up
answer.
the mountain answer, which I have, but it's got the multimedia CD in this version, which is still sealed because it's a Sierra Originals. But then I also have what I call the Reading Graham-Bow box. And yes, where they're cosmically kind of holding hands and flying out over the cliff tops on their grand adventures into the forwards. But King's Quest V was my very first hand painted point and click game ever. I'd never played a point and click game before. And I'd just come off of King's Quest IV, and I was expecting King's Quest V to be like King's Quest IV, but it was a completely different beast, and I remember not liking it for a little while. But the art got me. And then people have been saying it's difficult, or the desert, or like, but if you map stuff out and it's a point and click, it's not difficult, because I didn't use any clues or hints, and I never had any problem finishing this game.
Wow, that was very pull yourself up by your bootstraps of you there, Anna. You're just like, you spoiled sons of bitches. You gotta get out there and map it out.
Just take out a pen and paper and map it. It was, yeah. But you know what? I guarantee you, for all of my, providence or whatever during that comment, if I was to pull out this game and start playing it right now and not have any kind of a walkthrough, I probably wouldn't do as well. So, give or take.
That's fair. Whereas I played it, I definitely played it as a kid, but I was like too young to have memories of that. I just know that I have, right? You flag things where it's just like, yes, I technically have. I wasn't sentient or I wasn't one of those birds.
Cognizant, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So I played it again, like 4-ish years ago with a walkthrough, and it's delightful as a walkthrough. It was a lot of fun with a walkthrough
Mm-hmm. It
because
would
it's
be.
it's bullshit. Otherwise, it's a King's Quest game. These games are I think they hold up the worst of any Sierra game, possibly even by far in modern game design standards. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like playing this 4 years ago, like it's gonna be just so much bullshit. So you just get the walkthrough out and enjoy the story instead, which is what I did. And you know, it was like a little check mark. I was marking things off my little list and doing the seeing the sights, doing the things, checking out the desks, knowing where they were. Um, and it's a super fun game because I feel like there should be a group for classic games that you just file under with a walkthrough, like the Dig, where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like these are great games to play and they shouldn't be missed. And some people get scared away from even trying them because they're told how hard they are, or how much moon logic or bullshit there is in them. But it's like, don't skip them, just play them with a
Mm-hmm.
walkthrough. Because I what I really like about King's Quest V is that you have this sense of grand adventure the whole time. It's
Oh
like the
yeah.
most adventurous King's Quest. You're like I want to say surveying mountaintops, but I don't think we're actually like doing topography or anything like that. We're traversing. Yeah, we're
Traversing is a
traversing
good word
mountains.
for it.
You
And
know,
adventures, talking animals, and I don't
skiing
know.
down, or I mean, sledding down slopes and going to strange, faraway villages, and it feels really adventurous.
Hmm. It does. I'm looking at the back of my box here, and it has this just showing the graphics. There's a 16 color version, the other 16
Ugh.
color version, and the 256 color version. And that 16 color version is quite something.
Right.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember offhand if this was one of the ones that got like a its own 16 color or if it was just downscaled.
It looks downscaled as heck to me, I'll tell you that.
Because one of the actually I'll say that we're coming up to a few games that got dedicated EGA makes, and
Hmm.
they look better anyway. Better than the downscaled ones. A good example of downscaled would be, I think, I'm losing all faith in myself on this right now. I think Police Quest 4 Space Quest 4 is downscaled automatically and it just looks horrendous. But I might be
What about you? Like the Police Quest 3 one?
yeah, it looks so good.
Because that's the one I sent you.
Yeah, oh, that's right, man. That was back in the day.
That was years and years and years ago, man.
Yeah, we barely knew each other. That was so cool. Yeah, I was looking for the EGA box forever of that.
Yeah,
And
and I'm like, I just happen to have two boxes of it, and one of them is that version, and I didn't care about versions in that way, so I just immediately was like, you need to have this like now.
aw, it's so adorable. We would go on to become wonderful friends.
Turns out.
Okay, but King's Quest V is super bad because I don't remember it well enough to like really go on and on about it. I'm gonna hand off to you after I rank it, just because I think you have more to say than maybe I do. But you got your Cedric. He's a plus. He's an icon. Love him or hate him, it's Cedric, and this is his moment. So for that alone, it deserves a bump up in the score. You've got the absolute, maybe like the pinnacle of Sierra bullshit puzzles in this game with the mouse, or sorry, with the cat and the cat and the mouse. Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's the cat and the mouse, and then it's like one of those if you accidentally give the wrong thing to the cat, you can't finish the game kind of situations.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm 99% sure One Short has like a quick video on this, perhaps on his second channel that everyone should check out. And I think it might even be called like the most bullshit moment in a Sierra game,
Hmm.
something like that. But it's just remarkable. You get like one chance, and like the timing wise, like you need to know it's about to happen because you kind of have to have the inventory item like selected and ready to go. That's how little time you have. And of course, you have no chance of knowing that or way of knowing that. And then you end up in worst of all, it's not just like a death or anything. It's like you end up in a soft lock where you're like tied away in the basement of the cavern or whatever storage room, and you just can't get out because the
Hmm.
mouse isn't going to help you. So I started actually remembering what I was saying as I was saying it. So that's nice.
Oh, well done. You hit it well until you exposed it.
Thank you, thank you. So anyway, I like King's Quest V more than King's Quest VI, which is a hot take. Um,
Hmm.
and part of that isn't six's fault or to five's credit. I had really high expectations of six because everyone's like it's the best, and so when I played it, I was like it's fine, it's okay.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, King's Quest V, a I'm gonna give it an 8 because fuck you guys. I had fun playing it. I know it's hard. Sorry to attack the audience. I know it's really hard and it's bullshit if you didn't have a walkthrough, but I had a walkthrough and I had a lot of fun with it. So I'm giving it an 8.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Any kind of game where you get to turn into a what was it? You turn into a tiger, I think, near the end and kick a dragon's ass. Any game where you get to do that is a good game.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, I liked it. It was beautiful. I didn't have any problems with it. Like I said, 8, sure. Yeah, 8 is a good number.
Nice.
I
You're
agree
you're
with you on
almost
that.
apathetic to it. You're just like whatever. It's
It was a fine. I had no. I wasn't annoyed enough at it not to like it.
there you go. That's a great articulation of my sentiments as well. Yep. Beautiful. Okay. Check.
I feel a
So
little bit different about the next one though.
yes, same. So we're moving on to 1991, Space Quest 4, Roger Wilco and the Time Rippers. I almost messed up Roger's name. For
Aww.
shame. Um, I'll share why. Because as Anna knows, for the last several years, I keep a list of fancy words,
Hmm.
just big old words, and it's I call that text document fancy words for Roger Wordco and the something whatever. So anyway, that's why I almost called him Roger Wordco. But enough about fancy words. Maybe we'll use some of them in describing this vehemently. Um, and with zero vitriol. and other
None.
V-related words. But yeah, Anna, why don't you start us off with your thoughts on Space Quest 4?
Well, I used to have an open box copy of it. I just want to say, but I sent it off to a good friend of mine, Jess, over in Australia, and now I have a sealed copy. And I'm not usually one to keep things sealed, but because it's my favorite game, and because it's an original seal, and because it still has the price tag of 62.95 Canadian on it, I haven't opened it yet, and I'm not doing it right now on the air. Do not get all excited either way. But my point is, it is my favorite and first Space Quest game, even though it's point and click. And it's in my hands right now, feeling all new and beautiful. It's the first edition of the game, too. It's the 91. It's not like a redo, it's like the very, very first one. There's no best selling game on this
Ah,
box. I don't even know what this would be worth. I'm going to guess a couple $100. But anyways, the point is, it's dear and close to my heart. It was the first time I had ever experienced the kind of humor that was available in Space Quest. I had experienced Larry and King's Quest, but nothing like the irreverent humor that the two guys from Andromeda put forth in this game. The whole meta-ness, the time travel, the everything about this game tickled every funny bone that I had. I never had a hint book. I finished it on my own. I've played it so many times, and this is a bloody good game.
okay, yeah, that's hard to follow. I really like that. First
Yeah,
running. You said it was your first experience with Space Quest?
it sure was.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. I think I'm misremembering your thoughts on this game because I for some reason I thought that you. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because it's not what you thought.
No,
Um,
I love this game. I love this game oh so much.
that's adorable. The oh so much part. When was the last time you played this?
Probably with Gallic. Oh, when a friend of mine in the guild, Stieg, did a challenge where you were to get as far as you could in a game without dying, and then whoever got to get the farthest in the game ended up getting the credit for it. And I got as far as the time cops chasing me, and then I got caught right up in the top of the getting out of the Galaxy Galleria there. And not because of the bug that a lot of people are saying is there, and it's a timing thing and it's impossible to get out, because no, after I died and that was the end for that contest, I carried on and finished the game and I got out just fine. So
Okay. Wait, so how far did you make it? All the way?
oh yeah, I finished the game, but
Oh
that's
shit.
as far as I got in the Galaxy Galleria was for that contest because I died there once,
Okay,
and
thank
it
you.
had to be no saves. Well, I no saves, no dies or anything.
Did you die because of one of the timing bug
Hmm.
issues with the
No,
Galaxy? No, you just
I
okay.
just
That's
got
big.
caught. I went the wrong way and did something stupid, and I already knew how to do it. I should have done the diagonal, with the diagonal on the keyboard. That's what helps.
You're still beating yourself up over that, I hear. That's
I was so close. I thought it's like when I was doing, I think it was Space Quest 1, and I think I ended up dying for the first time. No shocker in like the pod racer. So
that's big of you to admit too, because that was an easy out right there. Because that was a huge bug
yeah,
for a long time. That is resolved if you played in Scum and whatever else.
yeah.
I mean, not whatever else if you played in Scum, but
I've never actually encountered that bug on any version I'd played it for, either original hardware or otherwise. So I'm pretty lucky. My Space Quest 4 has never done to me what Quest for Glory 4 has done to me.
I had a bug with that wasn't. I don't think it was timing related. I think it was a different bug. But that's
Hmm.
just gonna frustrate people because half of you don't know or care, and the other half of you know and are trying to will me into remembering it right now. But that's the time. That's not how time works, unfortunately. So I'm not gonna get those signals until randomly on Tuesday afternoon. And Anyway, okay, sorry. I just got an email notification from our good friend Jack Allen from Adventure Game Hotspot, and he just said that my review is in for their review of the game.
Ooh.
So now I got so many butterflies, you guys. It's been such a good nervy week, but we're gonna deal with that later. Um, Man, so many butterflies.
I can feel it coming through on the line right now. Oh my God. Now I got them too. I need you to, okay. We're going to carry on.
Okay, yeah, we'll be good. No, we're good. So, guys,
We like anticipation. It's tasty. It's
yes,
fine.
we're savoring it exactly. And honestly,
Yeah.
guys, I have a crush on somebody right now, and that's a lot of
Mhm.
butterflies too. I've got a lot of little, litty. What'd you call me earlier?
Lilty.
Yes, just a lot of little T energy. Geez, Louise. Okay, all right. Space
Whew,
Quest 4
it's getting
is.
hot in here.
Space Quest 4 is super fun. I love Space Quest
Mhm.
4. It's not my favorite Space Quest though, because I had to say something controversial at some point. Just because it's most people's, and I get why it is, because it is awesome. But for me, it's just one of the greatest games of all time, and it'll have to deal with that, demotion. This is one of those games that I reference second to only Police Quest when I'm trying to convince people that Sierra games felt like an open world.
Mhm.
Because as a kid, like, just having the agency to go around the mall, and it was and you could leave the mall and just be like, "What are you doing?" Be like, "I don't know, probably just gonna head over to the mall, walk around a little
Mhm.
bit, check out Radio Shack."
Exactly. Go to the arcade, check out the
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
whatevs.
Might buy something beautiful for myself. I don't know. Maybe if I deserve it, which I don't feel like I do, but
Oh, that's great. It's
um,
actually, if you're Roger, you'd feel exactly that way too.
right. And earlier, sorry, when you first started talking, you said you had an open-faced box.
No, sorry, I had an open big box of the
Okay.
game originally, and my friend didn't have one, and it's not easy to just go out and pick up a copy of Space Quest 4 while you're out and about shopping out in Australia.
Because
So,
when you said that,
import from Canada.
I heard open faced, and then that made me want an open face sandwich, club sandwich. And then I thought of this, there's like a Simpsons
Ooh.
joke about an open face club sandwich. Somebody out there will
Mm,
get that.
yes,
God, that was masterful writing. Holy crap. Um,
that
okay,
is
anyway,
good.
Space Quest 4. It's awesome. It's one of the best. I have to give it, even if it's not my favorite Space Quest, I don't have to give I can give several Space Quests a 10, which I have been and plan to continue doing, so it's a 10.
Yeah, it's a 10 for sure. 100% solid 10.
Quick nerd facts: this game was originally supposed to be a text parser game because the apparent, allegedly, let's say, because we're getting into dodgy legal territory. Um, Man, what was I going to say? That really just. Oh yeah, yeah. God damn it! Allegedly, Ken Williams told the two guys that they could pick whether they wanted parser or point and click, and allegedly it was actually just a bluff because Ken was pretty sure they were going to go with the new technology. And so they chose to do a parser because they felt it fit their humor better. And they went back to Ken and said parser, and he's like, "You see, the thing is this. It's gonna I'm gonna go ahead and override you on that one." So anyway, apparently it was supposed to be a parser, which to this day kind of just gets me because, like, damn, I would have loved a parser version of it. I think Space Quest shines. um it's one of those games that shines as a parser when you are looking at all the. It does great as a point and click too. I just can't help but wonder what would have been. So yeah, okay,
Mhm.
anyway, let's move on to later down the year. We're still in 91. I'm gonna hand this over to Anna because she's got some vehement opinions on Leisure Suit Larry 5. Passionate Petty does a little undercover work.
Okay, so I've just, as you might have heard while Paul was talking, not so quietly opened up my box, and I forgot that it has a previous person's notes in the box, and it's great. It starts out, Larry, recharge after each girl, get their bios. I'm like, this is the old notes for these. And then, of course, all these like random phone numbers all over Pat's and the contact telephone number and the account. And anyways, I love
Uh-huh.
that stuff. But they did this funny travel schedule, which is essentially the copy protection in the code. It'll be like, oh, you need to get a 2:30 flight to Los Angeles, California, and put in the code to be able to use it. But my
Right.
point being, the flyer that the codes for the airlines comes on has a disclaimer in the front page that is in, that really, really tiny print that's really hard to read, that they always make the disclaimers. And they've made it the whole page from top to bottom, as in like passengers are limited to 3 articles of baggage carry-on, which must be no larger than 24 by 18 to 20 to fit beneath the seat or over. Anyways, and it keeps going and going. I'm going to have to post a picture on social media, but it is one of the most ridiculous, longest disclaimers of tininess that you could ever read in your life. Like, it gets into, God, why are they even debating about it if they're not so sure? Why are they going to take the chance? After all, we're human beings in here. Most of us are. And except that the couple with the squalling infant, they're not humans. Don't they know better than to bring a baby on an air? And it just keeps going and going. It's the most wonderful thing of all. Whatever my opinions might be on this game, that and the fact that it came with the Play Spy magazine with like Girls of the Mafia, a passionate Patty like cover photo in the center, or like, oh wait, hang on now, Cold Finger, the spy who gloved me.
Wow.
If that isn't hot, I don't even know. I don't even know what else to say. This, and it's got like a little bio of Larry on the back. Anyways, this game has one of the coolest little documentation setups. I think it's just so much fun.
Anna, it's because you put a glove on your fingers. I think I get. I think I finally get that now.
Jesus God, no, that's great, right? Cold Finger. Oh, because her fingers were cold.
Man, oh man.
Oh no, but it's, yeah, they get into talking about like IUDs and stuff. It's, I don't know, it's weird.
Wow, it actually gets pretty medical.
It does. It gets right
it's quite
into
procedural.
it. But, okay, the point is, my reaction to this being a point and click game is entirely different to my reaction to King's Quest V or King's Quest or Space Quest, changing from typing to point and click, because I had played all of the Larrys 1, 2, 3 before playing 5. And when I got to 5, I mean, I was even okay with it being a point and click. I wasn't happy. Like, I really wanted another one like 3 because I loved 3 so much, and I wanted something more like that. But I was ready to take it, even with the funky 90s aesthetic. What was it that it's called again?
Oh, yeah. In case anybody missed this episode, I dropped this. I forced this fact on so many strangers. It's called Memphis Design.
There it is. Thank
quick,
you. That's a movie, like movie theaters and arcades. Yeah.
Thank you. Exactly. Like, yeah, the 90s mall styrofoam cups and arcade carpets and all the squigglies with the triangles and Doug and all the Nickelodeon cartoon styles. And real quick, it's called Memphis Design because of Bob Dylan's song, Something, Something, Something in Memphis. I mean, that's not the name of the song, but whatever. And Bob Dylan like he kind of debuted this style in that video, and so oddly enough, Bob Dylan, grizzled folk singer Bob Dylan, is responsible for the very bubbly 90s aesthetic that's in this game, known as Memphis Design. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, like I said, that it's beautiful. But the point is, I was okay. I was ready to accept all of these features: the hand-painted, digitized graphics, the no typing, the grope and click interface, which is what they called it in that game.
Yeah.
But I was not prepared to be told what to do. Wow. And that's kind of what this game did. It said, hey, did you know you need to click here to do this? Have you saved recently? Like, let's just make sure. Do you want to check? Do you want to just give it a little save? Something might happen. Like, the game broke the fourth wall so often to tell me what and how to play the game that I ended up, not enjoying it until much later, when I was able to look back at it with through the film of time and not feel so like, I don't know, not even placated, like talked down to. Right. It's like, you do realize, and I understand he was trying to cater to new players and get more people involved in what he thought was, because point and click is so much more accessible than parser. They were looking at a whole new audience when switching to the point and click dynamic. So I get it, but Space Quest 4 didn't do that. I did not feel my hand held. Did you?
I can't believe it was called Grope and Click, man. That is the epitome of just, we live in a different time. It's right on the box. My God, that is
even
wild.
This is Al Lowe is naked, but it's not really his body on the back. And it says, what does Larry say when he answers the phone? Right? Al Lowe, a statue. It describes him. He denies our allegations that he and Larry are one and the same. Al is a former school administrator and jazz musician who regularly practices safe sex. Larry is every girl's nightmare. We rest our case.
A little self-promotion Al slipped in there. Regularly practices. Unbelievable.
Hey, ladies, I bet you didn't know this about me. Ladies be like, I don't know if that's really going to get us on or
all
off.
the Sierra peers are like, yeah, no, but Al does fuck. Al fucks for sure.
No,
He's a wild
definitely.
animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
Um,
I've heard from the other Al that they used to have these closed door meetings that no women were allowed to be in, where they would discuss Leisure Suit Larry, and they would like have the cigars out and the brandy and just be like all super old school manly men for those times.
that's wild. Other Al Euphrasio?
Yes.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you went first because you reminded me of the hand holding, which was painful.
It
Oh my
was
god!
bad.
If you
It
were playing
was
this game
bad.
in 2018, like I was, or whatever, it was painful. It was there's a balance to be struck there, and they wildly overdid it. Like I could
Yeah.
see the idea of like, hey, we're introducing point and clicks to people. A lot of our fan base is coming from parsers, or just the specific Larry fan base is coming from parsers. But man, I'm going to say something that's not for probably anybody listening, so I'm sorry. But I really like motorcycle racing, and in the domestic series for America, in Moto America, this one announcer every race for 20 years like slips in these constant things. If you're new to motorcycle road racing, that's a tear off, and it's something you pull off the visor, and it's just like, dude, who is this for? Like, almost nobody here is new. Like, you might be reaching one person a race, and he takes like too much time, just too much
Anybody new is either a girlfriend or a child, and I assure you, they are being briefed by the family member that is interested.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
true.
It's just odd. It's just it does it too much. It does it every race and too many times a race for the the ratio of people that are there for it, and it's just very frustrating. And that's exactly what happens here with Leisure Suit Larry. So to all of
Yeah.
my crossover MotoGP Leisure Suit Larry fans, that one was for you. Thanks, me.
Mhm.
You're welcome, you. Um, anyway, Larry 5 is painful. It stops you constantly to do that. It's just way, I don't know. I can't believe I'm saying this about a Sierra game of this time, but it's like it's too easy. It's
It's
too just one step at a time. Just do this, and then they're like, "Good job. Now select this cursor and do that." And it's yeah, I don't know. There's a good game in there somewhere with like the airport and the traveling, but I didn't have fun with this at all.
Mm-mm.
Like I
6 out of
remember
10, dude.
it's one of those games like walkthrough wise where like you scroll down to see how much more game is there, and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
six.
reading a book for school. You're like, I know it's a part of the Sierra family. There it is. There's yours too. I had a feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, six for both of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're in 1993. We're in a small town called Lytton. Oh wait, sorry. This is Police Quest 3, The Kindred. This is the third entry in the Police Quest series. Sorry, I don't know where that came from, but this
This
is
one's brutal because it takes love and it like takes it in dark places, and I'm not it's this is such a funny game.
Yeah, this Jane Jensen enters the chat basically is is exactly what happened there. Jane starts writing and Anna's like, this one got dark.
Hmm.
Yeah, this one
Yeah,
is
it did, but
when did you play it for the first time?
right after playing the first two police quests, as soon as it came out, I was like, I need to play this game.
Oh, cool.
Because I was so invested in the series, right? So I
Right.
was just like, oh yeah, I played this, and I played all the way up to the first SWAT game, which I didn't end up completing because it was really hard and I didn't have like a hint book or anything.
Oh, okay. I like the way you say it. It's really hard, you guys.
It's so hard. It was all like procedural, and I guess like I understood that it had lost touch with the characters, and it was more like I just looked at it being like a police procedural, sort of like a codename Iceman is a submarine simulator.
Right. Right. Okay. That's a, that should yeah. Thank you for that. That's a really good way of conceptualizing that. That's perfect. Yeah. Okay.
But I am
So
opening up my Police Quest 3 box here as you talk. Go ahead.
okay. So it's like okay. This is the one I still to this day I recommend. This is like my one talking point, guys. So let me just get this out of the way. I really recommend you guys play this in EGA. If you haven't played it, but I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of you haven't. Because I know Police Quest that was very, very on the verge of guilt trippy there. Um, come on, you guys. We
Many of
talked
you
about
haven't.
this. We talked about you guys playing more Police Quest. What's going on? Um, no, but like, uh, if you're gonna play it, play the Phantom Fellows. But if you don't play that, play Police Quest 3 and play it in EGA because it looks better. It looks more charming and Sierra-y, and it's the only game in this era that got an EGA downgrade. And super just on the nerdy side of things. The reason they did this downgrade was really similar to the reason that they gave King's Quest 4 an AGI version, which was just like software limitations and them being afraid that they would like amputate part of the audience by only offering VGA graphics, for the people that were still on 286s or whatever at the time. So they would either downscale them, or in certain cases that I can't forget, and I'm annoyed at myself for not knowing offhand, they would actually have somebody in the art department, or a team, fire off an actual handmade EGA versions of the game. In which case, Police Quest 3 fits that bill. Like, it got its own EGA graphics. It's not scaled down, and it looks really good. Like, it has the charm of Police Quest 2. Like, just seeing the Cayennes and it adds, I think, a needed dose of lightheartedness, or just fun. Because Police Quest 3 it's a little, the VJ version for me is not that fun to look at. It's very just I don't know. It's what Gabriel Knight got right when going the realistic route. I feel like Police Quest 3 got wrong. It's just not fun enough. That being said, both versions have some really cool
Sorry, that's me. It's relevant. Okay, I just need you to.
It's not.
I'm
It's
sending him
somebody's
a
penis,
picture.
you guys.
I'm sending him a picture of Sunny and Marie from in the
Oh, no
Lytton
way.
handbook from Police Quest, and I'm like, this looks AI generated. Is that like Ken and Roberta with different faces
It
implanted
does.
over them? I'm going to post a picture of this, you guys. You all need to see this.
Dude, it so does. Good call.
Okay, it was worth the vibrating.
It was.
Anyways,
No.
that's my point.
Yeah, it totally was. Anyway, the game, both versions of the game, I gotta actually take it off my screen. It's quite distracting. This guy's actually, if he's real, I won't say what I was about to say. He's fine.
I'm so sorry, buddy, is all I have to say if he's real.
The game has cool camera angles. That's all. It has interesting, I don't want to say it's the first, but yeah, it feels like an early example of a game playing with cinematographic
and scenes within a scene, because it's all video captured. It's all action sequences. All the sound effects are not just it was very all of it was digitized. They had Jan Hammer. Jan Hammer, he did Miami Vice soundtrack. That was where the music came from for this game. It's got this. That's why it's got that epic real city kind of a feel with the music in it.
Right. Oh, that's cool. See, I didn't know that. That's okay. He's right, Miami Vice. He covered that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the game story wise? So you can tell Jane Jensen's involved because it definitely is more I don't know, gritty, more realistic, more fleshed out. It's
and brutal, more brutal.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, that's a perfect word for it. Exactly. Yeah, because it's hard to say violence in it, because then you expect acts of violence, and it's less that and more just brutal. Yeah. Grittiness, realness. It's, I don't know, especially early Sierra games, and just not just early, the first two Police Quests, but just earlier Sierra games could be a little thin or on plot, or a little what would you say? I don't know, what am I trying to say? Very tropey, just just your good old, just a cop story, and here's the bad guy, and he's selling kids drugs, and we're gonna get him. And this one's definitely a more fleshed out, a crime story. There we go. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, yeah, it has more of a story behind it. It's got more drama. It's much more visceral in general. It's a little bit difficult, I think, not so much as in a dead endy site, but in a very rigorous follow the protocol. This is 1 ABC, 2 ABC, 3 ABC, or else kind of a game. But yeah. And I mean, of course, it's stereotypical to the time period, but as it should be, if you ask me, because it was made when it was made.
Right. Yeah. And I just can't remember well enough, but I feel like something about the last the final act of this game. Like it either rushes it, or there's something that I remember feeling off about the ending of the game. That I think it was more just it felt rushed or something. But
They ran out of enthusiasm, if you ask me, about
mm,
halfway through the game in a way. And then towards the end, again, I think it suffered from the typical Sierra rush. I think this game ended up being a bit more than they could chew in a few different ways. And the same sort of thing
right.
happened. There was some strange programming decisions in the game, like the way the shootouts went and stuff. It was, you can almost feel how much like Jim Walls wasn't super happy with his previous life as a cop and where he went with it. And when it was represented in this game, I think it almost shows through a little bit. It's not that he doesn't have respect for the job, but I don't know if he was entirely happy with what it's all about.
Right, and he would leave Sierra and go to Tsunami after this to do
Mhm.
Blue Force instead of
Which had
Police Quest
such a
4.
different point of view, right? Here you got a
Yeah,
police officer not being a cop, right? So it almost makes sense that he would follow this up with that.
and it makes you wonder how much him and Jane were or were not butting heads, or just where how exactly, because there is, yeah, there is a difference in the latter half of this game. I just wonder if that was had something to do with the writing, or if that was just classic Sierra get it out the door stuff and they had to rush it, which wouldn't be hard to
Mhm.
believe. But okay, well, I this is a hard one to score actually. Do you have a score already in your
Yeah,
head?
yeah, it's kind of a 7. I wanted to put it higher, but I was wanting a Police Quest 3, and I almost felt like the person okay, you can say Sonny was an empty shell that didn't have a lot of personality, and I think we've heard a few people say that in various videos, and I'm not to disagree, but I almost feel like what personality he did have was starting to shine by the end of Police Quest 2 was not, even though there was great story writing, he wasn't he wasn't represented the same in this new one. It almost felt like an entirely different game in some ways than the other two.
I think I know exactly what you're saying. It felt like they overdid it as far as reminding us of who Sonny was. Like they
Mhm.
really drilled home this like more naive, like, homegrown kind of guy with like, a wilder partner in Marie, and like I don't know. They went over ground that we had already been through for 2 games, and we didn't need to. It was like a third Spider-Man origin story. Like we get it. Jesus Christ, Uncle Ben dies. Like please
Mhm.
stop with like drilling that home. And yeah, it certainly didn't. If nothing I said there is valid, to which fair enough, it certainly didn't expand on him as a character. If anything, it
No.
just kind of muddled around with stuff we already knew and then concluded.
I don't think his I think he did better in less pixels as being a character, and when they tried to humanize him, they almost took away some of his personality at the same time.
Right, that might even weave into what I'm saying with the VGA version. Like, there's just something
Mhm.
I don't like about it, and that could just be a part of that ingredient as to why I don't like it. Like, the EGA does remove some. The EGA version makes certain things more implied, and I like
Yeah.
it implied better. Because I don't know,
Yeah.
I always thought Sunny worked better as an avatar, as like you
Yeah.
project yourself onto Sunny.
I liked it enough that when 4 came out and I realized it was some dude named John Kerry and it wasn't even Sonny Bonds, I was disappointed.
Huh? I didn't know that at all. Is that who you sent
Yeah.
me a picture of?
No, so it should be, but no, the Police
2014
Quest
President-elect John Kerry.
but no, Police Quest 4 is SWAT, that's why. And then
Oh,
they
four.
completely
Right, right.
shifted. Yeah,
Sorry.
that's why. It's not anything to do with Sonny at all. And I'm like, where's Sonny? Because as most of us did, you get to know the characters, and so you expect him to be like Leisure Suit Larry 6, where's Larry? Now it's some guy named Bert.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And then Blue Force, like Jim probably took the idea of Sunny Wisp, but for legal reasons it couldn't be Sunny, so you're stuck with like, I don't know, Sammy or whatever, and and it's just not the same. Not that that's the name of the Blue Force guy. Whatever.
Right. That's
7.
just it. Yeah, and or like Connor. Who the fuck is Connor?
Yeah, well, I'm not going down that route again, but yeah, that's right. I'll still never forget getting yelled at for that one. That was like four
No,
years ago.
we've been yelled at, and it's too bad because now I've been noticing that name out wherever I go, and I've been really judging whoever has it, whether positive or negatively. I'm like, because now I need to pay attention. Like, are Connors okay? Like,
Right.
I'm not going to talk about my experience online.
Wow. It sounds like so far no.
Been
Oh
some
no.
weird Connors that have jumped into my life in the last like 2 years.
Dude,
It's
it's
just
such a
yeah, it's been
slippery
weird.
Connor slope. We're getting into that territory of shaming
It's
Connors again. I'm so
no,
sorry.
yeah, I don't. I love. You listening, Connor? Yeah,
Yeah.
you right now in your house on your Google Home speaker. You're a great person, and I respect you.
He's like, we're an
This has
apple
nothing to
family.
do
An apple family.
with Oh man, I screwed myself again. Okay, the next game is it's all yours, Paul. Go ahead.
Okay, so Police Quest 3, 7 and a 7. And then Echo Quest, that's right. Echo
Eco,
Quest.
Echo. Well, you know it is. It's called Cyan.
Is it really? Because I
It
used to
is.
say cyan and I
It
abandoned
is.
that for cayenne. Damn it.
No, cayenne is a type of pepper. Cayenne pepper.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll go back to cyan maybe if it's not too
Okay.
late. But I'm
Yeah.
sticking with Echo Quest, even though I think it's technically eco. I don't like the way that's eco. It's very just. But anyway, Echo Quest: The Search for Thetis, which is a ridiculous name. This game is awesome. I love Echo Quest so much. The second one might even be awesomer. Actually, that's on. We'll get there. Echo Quest is this is my talking point on this because we'll keep it short because Anna hasn't played enough of it to rate it. I'm just gonna say this: it's not the kids game that it seems to be. It is it's just a fun game, but you can't play the talkie version. Same with Willy Beamish. Don't play
Mhm.
the talkie versions because the talkie versions
Mm.
overly they make they that the talkie versions make it a kids game because it's like you know as I've said on the show many a times before that's upset people. Kids can't act. They're the
Mhm.
worst. Um, a good kid actor is just a bearable regular actor. Like they're not good at acting. I
Mm-mm.
don't know. I always get stuck on this. I really like drilling it home. Um, so anyway, yeah, and so like Sierra's not Hollywood, so like it's even B list as far as like the voice actors. Look, I don't want to just keep shitting on the actual voice actors for these games. I'll just say it's a fun game if you don't play the talkie version for all ages. It's not like yeah, there's a few little like hand holdy like be good to the environment moments, but frankly, I think we all need to hear that. So so check it out if you haven't played it, or if you haven't played it because you think of it as a kids game, then I'm saying to play it. If you haven't played it because you don't want to, fair enough. Um, and should I bother ranking it? Because I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, go ahead. Who doesn't have voice acting? Richard Powell, he's quite an artist, but I know he's not a voice actor.
Okay.
Josh Mandel, he was in there. He's more of a writer than a voice actor per se.
Right, he probably does like the walrus or one of the jokey. The problem's Adam. You know what I mean? It's like the
Yeah.
same with Willie Beamish. Whoever does the leads on the kids, it's just like
Yeah, Adam Green for Dylan. I see. But yeah, Richard Aronson was also there as Superfluous.
that is the walrus. I think Superfluous. I might be wrong
Yes.
about that. But, okay, good. So maybe play it.
Yeah, it looks pretty. I see the Atlanta scene and stuff. I'm just looking at screenshots.
Is you said you played only a little bit of it? Was that when we played it with the Greenbergs on the stream? No.
No, that's farther than I've ever actually got. When I played it, I got as far as Adam's diving gear to Illyria, the coastline. Yeah, right around there. So right before getting into the Algae and the Oracle and all that.
Okay.
About a third of the way.
I think Gene Jensen worked on this too, but I might be wrong about that.
Let's
Doesn't
have a
matter.
look. I have the cast listing right here. Programmers Randy, Hugh, Neil, and Rick. Let's look at writing. System CD lead programmer was Neil Matz. Lip syncing, music, sound effects, programmers, designer, writer. No writer. Director.
No writer.
No. Let's look and see if Jane is anywhere. There we go. Jane Jensen is one of the designers.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That
she's
makes
in
it
there.
all worth it.
It does. Thanks for listening to all of that,
Yeah,
folks.
thanks, guys. Well, let's move on to a good game that most people love. 1992's The Dagger of Amon-Ra, or Larabutu.
Oh, I've got it right here, thanks to Paul, because, well, you sent me this coffee. It turns out we have a few trades going on in this.
Yeah, that's right.
You sent this years ago to me, too, like years and years and years ago.
Um, yeah, overcome with guilt by Anna's sentiment of sending Police Quest 3, I decided to zoom in on some of her photos to see what's missing in the background. And anyway, Dagger of Amon-Ra's Larabutu 2, for anybody that doesn't know. Um, and this is one of my favorite games. I absolutely love this game. so very much. I put it up there with Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, which it's like it's in my little vague top 3 like all-time Sierra games or maybe games. Let's not get into that. I'll get very nerdy very quickly with
Oh my
ranking.
God, stop everything. There's a contest in here to win a complete Sierra Dynamics game library.
Wow.
I want to know, did anybody win this? I know most people maybe took the money instead, but could you imagine?
Yeah, could you imagine taking the money instead? Unbelievable.
I would be so upset about that. It's like the trip to England. Is it like the reason that we've never found anybody that won a trip to England on King's Quest 4 is because they took the trip to the bank instead?
Yeah, how are they not online? Who did that? Maybe they moved to England and just never. I mean,
That
it's
was
not
the
like,
end.
England's like a deserted island somewhere, so that doesn't make sense.
No,
They went to England and never came back.
that was.
We never heard from them again. They're out in Sherwood Forest.
But that's the most amazing marketing because it has the contest which you can enter. But when you open it up, it says you have not already won a complete Sierra Dynamics library, but you could if you send in this card today, and you'll get 4 issues of Interaction at $11.80 value for free. All you got to do is check the boxes. I love that.
Dude,
Ken was amazing at
that's a
marketing.
$90 value nowadays. Most interactions are going for $30 a pop online. So
I lived in Canada. I automatically assumed I could have nothing.
right, that's fair. Aw, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, stopped me.
must be weird. Must be a weird life in Canada because it's like everything just feels totally normal, right? All just
Mhm.
English speaking North American life, and then they're just like, not you,
Yeah,
not you
everybody
guys
but
again.
not you.
Um,
There's a lot of that. Because all the TV we would watch and all the games we would play would be American. Like where was the Canadian game dev in
right.
1989 putting an adventure game out so that I can play it on my mom's work PC? No.
Yeah, nothing. You guys got one. You had that one CGA truck driving game.
Yeah, Cross Country Canada, but they
I knew
also
you'd
made a
know it.
Cross Country America as well, or Cross
Oh,
Country United States.
listen to the bitterness. She's mad about that. Like, you know what? We almost had our own thing, but then you guys got a version too. America's
It's
all
such a
Marcia,
good
Marcia,
game.
Marcia.
You and I need to play that game sometime online, and it would be great. We're gonna play and you're gonna be like, "What is with all the potato talk?" It'll be a thing.
That sounds, yeah. I had no idea. That I didn't expect you to say that just then. So that, yep,
You never know where you go when you go cross country Canada, mofo.
right, exactly. Somewhere that ends in a tuba.
Yes, yes, like my name today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so every time we do an episode so far, and there's no guarantee it'll happen in the future, it's only been happening for years, Paul manages to fit my name into something. And today's rendition is Anatoba, which is, very Canadian.
Last week was still my all-time favorite. And another thing.
It was the best one because that's so me too. We were like, okay, we're done recording. We're going to go now. And another thing. It works both ways because we're both saying it. So that's okay. That's so funny. All right, back to it. The point is, this is a beautiful game. It's classy. It's a murder mystery. It's set in the 1920s. You're in a museum. And Laura Bow is continuing to watch people die and taking notes on it.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. Never once wondering if she's the problem, Common denominator. Man, it's so good. I've always had a fascination with Egyptology, so just the box alone, I feel like this game had something to do with my fascination for Egyptology because I walked by this box like every day of my childhood, and just like would take a second to stare. This and was it Coral Draw?
Mhm.
One of the early
Corel Draw.
one of the thank you. One of the early illustration programs had King Tut on the cover as well as like a
Yeah.
demonstration. Was it Corel?
Corel Draw. And it was the best because I used Corel and WordPerfect was the suite that it went with. And that's
Right.
what I used growing up. And my mom had the keyboard overlay. And I always worked with like reveal codes on in when I was doing anyways, the point is all my memories go back to that. I have big gigantic fat guidebooks of like clip art and stuff you can do with Corel Draw. Like we've kept all of those guides going all the way back into town for all of those programs. This is literally I grew up with that. My bread and butter.
we were headed down a one-way street there that ends in N dashes or M dashes or
Yes,
whatever.
M dashes. I was telling you, you can't use a regular dash. So we always had it set up so that every time you used one, it would automatically change it into an M dash so that typesetters wouldn't click their tongue at me.
Right, and I was like, use the pretentious one, not not the regular dash. Oh man. Okay. For some reason, we're having a hard time talking about probably at least my favorite game on this whole damn list. I think, because I mean, it's Dagger Bomb and Raw. It's as as one short has recently shown me. There's a lot of bullshit in this game, a lot. And Anna, you've
Mhm.
seen it too, like in the some of the network Discord, just some of the stuff he's been finding and sharing, and more so reminding us of, where it's like, oh yeah, that was bullshit too. But man, the more bullshit you remember or recall about this game, like I don't know, eating the sandwich, um, the more you remember that, the more impressive it is to me because it reminds me of how charming this game is. Like, you know how
Mhm.
charming you have to be to forget the stuff I've forgotten by choice about this
Yeah.
game?
Oh, that's beautiful. I liked one Short Eyes speed run for this game. He did it at the end of the Adventure Game
Yes.
Fanfare, and he did a speed run, and some of it included this game. For example, getting through the room with the snake on the loose and not getting killed. And find, anyways, it was like the best thing I've ever seen.
It was the best panel of the weekend. It was
Mhm.
I'll never forget looking back and watching and seeing Dave Gilbert just roar with laughter at some of it. Like for
Mhm.
some reason that was just like a moment for me. I'm like I love this moment right now. This is so
Mhm.
cool. Um
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a little bit broken, but the speedrunners have got that figured out. It's beautiful, it's artistic, it's classy. My friend Roberta Vaughn, who's an admin in the Classic Gamers Guild, has cosplayed as Laura Bow in the
yes.
classic blue dress with the wig and done it absolutely perfectly. She's also done it as the news reporter
I was just
at
gonna
the
say, yes.
fanfare and absolutely meticulous. I would watch that movie if she was the main actress in it and playing Laura Bow. It was just spot on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
she crushed in the news uniform. It was so good.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I was thinking too is why do I excuse some of the bullshit mechanics? Because I definitely played this game early days and later days with and without walkthroughs, etc. And I think it's because so many of the Sierra games, the experience really was the exploration. Like this is another great example of how much fun it was to just be in the world and look at the things and talk to the people and touch the things and see what happened and find the deaths. Like it was almost everything except for progressing forward through this through the game. Like you progress forward as a side effect or as a bonus or a supplement to the exploration. And this is just like a fine example of exactly that. So and without the overwhelming amount of controls that Gabriel Knight 1 had. So yeah, this is totally a 10 for me.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sitting here staring at the box. I can't say anything but a 10, and I don't care about inconsistencies. I don't even care if the cast half the time doesn't even know where they are or where you're supposed to find them, or the scoring system issues or anything else I've heard complained about over the years. I didn't mind the conversation. I didn't mind the plot how it was. It's beautiful. It's unforgiving, and that makes me love it that much more. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's funny. I wonder how many hedonists Sierra created.
It's true.
I think
Okay, we good. We good.
I
So,
meant to say masochist. Sorry.
oh, right.
Wrong
It
word.
was a
Whatever.
little bit of both,
Yeah.
actually.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, sure.
A hedonistic masochist is always fun to hang out
Right.
with, at least for one night.
Right. Now that's indulgent. Jeez Louise.
Goodness. Sounds like I'm talking about somebody in a band or something. So
Okay.
we've talked about Conquests of the Longbow before. In fact, if you're interested, we talked about it for 4 hours and 15 minutes with One Short Eye. And you know what? It's such a listenable episode that I even listened to it. And I was in it. And it was really long. And at least Paul knows I don't do that too often.
That is impressive. You put 8 hours
It's
into
a
that episode.
lot.
Yeah, that's amazing. To this day, I think it's our highest performing episode as well.
Outside of the one with the Williams on it, it is only second to that.
Okay, that's miraculous too. Just again because of the length, but
Yeah, because I think the Williams has like 2,000 listens and this one has like 12 or 1,300 listens.
okay, damn. Um, I mean, I definitely like this game a lot more since not only having One Short Eye on the show, but also since watching his video on it, which is
Thank
just
you for saying that because the first time I ever played it, when I was a kid, I never finished it.
Yeah, I didn't play it as a kid myself, but I played it later, and I don't know. I'm so like aesthetically sensitive that I did have a hard time getting past. I always call this game like green featuring brown. There's
Hmm.
just a lot of those two colors, man. And that was that almost gate kept it to a sense. From like I don't know. I didn't look past that as much as I should have. And then once we saw, appreciated it from Shorta's perspective, let's say, that like
Hmm.
that started changing things for me as far as just at least respect for it, because I can't,
Hmm.
I can't go back and like annotate my own first experience with it, but I definitely appreciate it more now.
Yeah, because Conquest of Camelot is almost a 10 out of 10. We haven't talked about that one, but that's my favorite Christy Marks game ever in the whole wide world. And I guess when I first played it, I didn't get into Robin Hood as much. I found it a bit complicated, a bit convoluted, and a bit difficult for some reason, even though it was mostly timing based puzzles. But going back again, I feel exactly the same as Paul. And I think that's convinced me to give it an 8. And I don't think I would have before.
That's yeah, it makes it a tough one to score.
I'd like to say 9, but it just, I think nostalgia plays such a huge factor in my own personal voting that that's why I can't push this one up to the 9.
I'll say while I multitask and try to think of a score, that if you haven't watched One Short Eyes video on it, please check it out in a just for you sort of way. Like it is
Oh, it is the best
so
thing
good.
ever. That video is a 10. That
Yeah.
video is
Oh,
a
so
12
good.
out of 10. And I mean any other One Short Eyes videos. I'm just obsessed with all of them, and they get watched over and over and over again. So, yeah.
Yeah, check it out. Anna is Maid Marian in that video. She does the voice of Maid Marian. So
Hmm.
there's you'll recognize that, and maybe a less recognizable voice will be my own, because I do Will in that
Hmm.
too. So check it out. He's got the whole community doing
You
voices in
do
it. And,
Will well.
why, thank you. Um, Snowy just kills it as Robin Hood too.
Snowy is the best Robin
Yeah,
Hood in the world and has become one of my favorite people ever. Not just because of that, but because of the speedrunning ability and prowess that Snowy has, and occasionally running into them in chats and other places. But yes, just keep being awesome. Whether or not you listen, I don't know, but keep being awesome.
yeah. Damn, I'm giving it a serious yeah, because I'm also process, because I'm tempted to give it more than an 8, because I almost feel like I would have given it 8, because even when I said
Should it go 9? Should I go a 9? Should I do it? Like I'm almost feeling like I could.
I liked it. Okay, this is pre One Short as influence. I liked it. What okay? Because I said what I didn't like about it, which is largely just aesthetics. But what I did like about it is that it felt really accessible for a Sierra game. It was very
Hmm.
like it was. I found it just intuitive and pretty easy to get through. Like you, I think I stumbled a little bit with some of the timing stuff or returning to the Overlook, but for the most part, like it just felt different from a lot of the Sierra games, not in a bad way. It almost had a little bit of a Lucas kind of vibe to it, because it was very sensible.
Aw, it is. You are making me want it to be a 9. Because it's such an 8.5 for me, and I can't do that because we're not doing the halves. Aw. No, it's a 9 now.
Good. Well, I hope wherever One Short A is, he just went yes.
Oh, it's official. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Oops.
Okay. So that's that. Next we have King's Quest 6. Air today, gone tomorrow.
I didn't open up my longbow box, but guys, by the way, it is
Ah,
here.
chunky.
It does have a 9 man's Morris board inside it, as it should, and it is beautiful and it is shiny, and I do love that. It's one of those big fat chonky. In fact, this is the era of big fat chonky boxes, and I'm
Ah,
going to
you're
take a
right.
photo, but not a single one of these. Let me just look here. Which one is this? Not a single one of these games is skinny. Not one of them.
This and it reminds me too, because when I was hunting for these different versions, this one has its own EGA, and it was really hard to find. This one took me a long time to find that EGA box,
Hmm.
um, which I did, and I promptly made CryoFlux floppy raw stream data backups, and then promptly forgot about. But um, Why was I saying that? Oh, right, we were on to King's Quest. I wasn't. That's
Yes,
well, because you reminded me of Ninesman Morris, and that was such a fun part of the experience.
I love that.
Speaking of pre One Short Eye influence as to liking the game, because I was super excited about the Ninesman Morris. Like I was shocked that I don't know. It brought me back to the good old days. It brought me back to like map making and like really taking time to like show it love and care and learn the little side game and then get the dopamine hit for having learned it and figured it out and losing a few times and then winning. Um,
Hmm.
so anyway, Nine Swim Wars was a huge part of why I liked it on that first playthrough. But
And
okay,
this
okay,
is good because on one of the other games I talk about, that I'll be mentioning a game that I learned from it too. So.
good. I'm like a real '90s sitcom here. We're gonna wrap these up with morals at the end of the story. Just here's what we learned today. Okay, King's Quest 6, here, whatever, something about tomorrow. 92. I've come around on this game. I was a little hard on it back in the day, but and we recently did an episode with Eric Elsom of Magic Map Studios on this game too. That was comprehensive, I dare say,
Hmm.
competent, if you will.
Hmm.
Um,
It was very, very satisfying, actually. It was a great episode, and I'm glad that Eric came on to talk with us about it.
right, exactly. This is me just being like, insert that here, so I don't have
Mhm.
to think of stuff to say about it because it's fun. Um, it's adventurous. It has Jane Jensen, which I think she was a huge asset to this game in a way, injecting like fresh takes on things that the King's Quest series really needed.
Mhm.
Because it felt like Roberta was running out of you know fairy tales. Just running out of, I don't want to say tropes because they're more than that, but running out of those like archetypical fairy tale stories that comprised of King's Quest games, right? They were always like a collection of them all um, put together, and this is its own story. It's probably the strongest story being told. It doesn't. God, I didn't think about this when we were talking about King's Quest Five, but like the ending of King's Quest Five is bullshit. Like writing
Mhm.
wise, story writing wise. Um, the wizard showing up at the last second, like where were you all along stuff, and just holes and plot holes and things like that. This game is more free from than any other King's Quest game. Um, the Minotaur is bullshit. I remember that disappointing me as a kid because I mean the
Mhm.
box art in this game it's the coolest box art possibly of all the Sierra games. Well, not Dagger. Okay, it's one of the cool of the King's Quest series.
Yeah.
and you just as a kid, like I remember like taking that home from Babbage's or whatever and like being excited to get to that part, and then it's just a guy with a bull head and maybe hairy shoulders. Like it was so that was disappointing. Like why didn't they just make him taller? Like he was more or less Alexander's height. It was so disappointing. um anyway.
King's
I
Quest is very good at misrepresenting themselves on the covers. I was just talking with my mother and saying, it's so funny when somebody that designs a game box or reads a book or does the outside of a movie cover doesn't actually read the book, watch the movie, or play the
right.
game before making the art. And I think that happens a lot.
Right. Like, yeah, with King's Quest One, at least the PC
Mhm.
Junior box has the
Yeah, the
knight with
black
a
guy or
sword.
whatever.
Right, right. Or King's Quest, I think 3 it is, where Graham
Mhm.
is Graham's black. So look, these are facts, man. I'm just saying, I'm just repeating what I saw, the observations. But that's weird, right? So yeah, there's been all kinds of odd misrepresentations on King's Quest. Good call. But to your point with the movie box, that PC Junior is a great example because whoever designed it was like, it's a story about kings. There's probably a knight and a sword fight at some point.
Mhm.
Swing and a miss. There is neither. Um,
But they've always done well with the documentation in King's Quest games. The books always have like a gorgeous kind of luxurious feel to them. Even the guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles, it has like an embossed front cover, and it's kind of got the gold lame style writing, and it's got like really kind of really cool aesthetics on the graphics and the pictures in the guide.
you
I've
say
always liked
LeMay?
that. Yeah.
Dude, you're killing it with the fancy L words. I'm gonna add that to fancy words for Roger Wordco.
Turns out my mom was a graphics designer, so
Damn. I give King's Quest 6 a. What do you give it?
I feel now obligated to give it an 8 because I don't think I'm allowed to give it any other score.
Okay, I see. I wasn't gonna go more than one lower than you, so I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, if you said 7, I probably would have said 7, but I'm going to stick with my 8.
I don't know. I almost feel like, okay, hold on. What else did I give something else a 6, and what was it? Okay, it's better than Larry 5. So yeah, I give
Yeah,
it
it
a
is
7.
better than Larry 5.
Yeah.
I like it because I like the whimsicalness of the garden, and I like the dwarves that, can see, taste, and I like those ideas of it. Those parts of it stick with me.
And I like how you can travel to the different aisles. That's very
Hmm.
adventure-y and it feels good. It feels open worldy. And I also like the magical the trippy Alice in Wonderland-y world
Yeah,
in
me too.
particular. Yeah. Okay, there
Hmm.
we said good things about it. Okay, next, moving on to it says 93. I'm inclined not to believe it. Plus, I misled everybody at the beginning. I said
Let
this
me
ended in 92. Whatever.
let me look at the back of the box. Just hang on while everybody listens to me put away Games Quest 6 and
It's
pull
okay.
out
This remember
Space Quest
everybody.
5.
These are the sounds of old relevant boxes. So it's not just noise. It's
1993, you've got it.
historical noise.
It is 93. Historical noises. I love that.
uh,
Yes, 93, you are absolutely correct. And this is one of the best game boxes too because it has the Galactic Enquirer.
yes.
And I love it because my grandma used to read the National Enquirer. So we always had that in the weekly world
Right.
news around the house. So to have one of the games in the series that I
Fat
love
boy.
give me my own version of it. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And the Dynamix, which is in here. There it is.
Ooh,
The
okay.
ad,
Two things.
right?
One, this is Space Quest 5: The Next Mutation. I'm sure you've all caught
I
on to that
get
now.
so excited.
But and then two, Anna, tell him the Dynamix thing.
Okay. So there's an ad for like a weightlifting stuff in here. It's increase your strength, feel great, look great, lift things, big things, open jars, impress your friends. If they're not impressed, beat them to a greasy, quivering pulp. Make new friends, beat them up too. Hire people to scratch your back, terrorize little skinny guys on the beach. Send us your money now because we use Dynamix too, and we'll find you. And that's how they call it, genetics. So their product is Dynamix. That's, I mean, the revolutionary high energy formula, and I mean that's it. That's where my pronunciation would come from and is backed up right there.
Yeah, and I think what Anna's unearthed here is a profound realization that the reason that at least half of us say Dynamics instead of Dynamics might be because of this ad, because they sell it
Mhm.
as, yeah, like a protein mix, like Dynamix to get strong.
Yes,
And
yes.
so like as like an impressionable 9-year-old idiot, I'd be like, hey, that's the name of the company, Dynamix.
Hmm.
And here we are. Like it makes too much sense.
That's it. You can vulcanize your muscles. Tired of being humiliated with cries of "Hey geek" and "What's up, bird legs?" Well, fight back, you
Wow.
wimp. Learn the arts of those Shaolin of the spaceways, the Vulcans. Be super strong while maintaining a geeky exterior. Oh my god. Anyways, I love looking through this whole magazine. It is the absolute
I
best thing
agree.
ever.
I think that is the single best insert into any Sierra box ever. I know,
Yes.
like sincerely, yeah. It is. It is that. It is that fun and good, and just every. It is like the embodiment of everything awesome about Feelies.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Makes me feel, just looking through it, I've got this like permagrin on my face right now, and just I'm laughing. And now I know as soon as I get off this call, I'm going to be like looking through this box again, even though I think I did it 3 days ago to prepare for this episode.
okay, this is Space Quest 5. This is so it was published by Dynamix, um, and it was because it was made up in upstate. It was made only by I mean, not upstate. I guess it was in a different state than California. Doesn't matter. It was made by what am I trying to say?
One.
Mark Crow worked on the no, yeah, Mark Crow worked on this,
Yeah,
but Scott Murphy did not. So
correct.
so so that you know that changes things for some people right off the bat when there's only
Hmm.
one guy from Andromeda. Fair enough. I heard Scott Murphy once call it Roger Beamish, which I
Hmm.
absolutely adored. Because it looks like Willie Beamish. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
look like it, but like they use like the same palette. Like it has Willie vibes.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it's like playing a comic, man. Like I felt like some games make you feel like you're playing a cartoon. This one made me feel like I was playing a cartoon version of a comic.
right. And the resolution's like just high enough at this point to not be
Hmm.
like, yeah, super pixely. Um, I think I go back and forth. It depends on the day of the week, but this and Space Quest 3 are my favorite Space Quests. I don't know if I could put one. Like I think it has to be 3 for complicated baggage reasons. Like if I'm accounting for the baggage I bring to the table, it's 3. But 5 is the funniest Space Quest game. It's maybe one of the funniest games I've ever played. Like as far as actually made me laugh out loud a few times.
Hmm.
Um, it's so good. I love it so much. And like I would like Space Quest 4 more if it wasn't for how good 5 is. I
Hmm.
really like Space Quest 5, particularly the writing. I'm not a Star Trek guy. Uh, even though I like sci-fi, I don't actually Star Wars or Star Trek very much.
Mm-mm.
But so in other words, that wasn't like an influence. Like that's not nudging me towards liking it. Because and I don't not like Star Trek. I don't want to upset anybody. I used to watch it only because it was on before The Simpsons. In case that
Hmm.
resonates with anybody. Back in the day, Simpsons were 8. Star Trek Next Generation reruns were always before The Simpsons reruns.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is that didn't influence why I liked it. It's just really well written and a ton of fun. Um, yeah, I like when he shrink into the fly. Like there's so many memorable moments in this game. It's like a super easy 10 for me.
And it did not need the voice acting to make it so,
Right. Yes.
because there isn't any, even though there was in 4. And I mean, even my son, he was watching me play it and he's like, how come this game's so quiet other than music? I'm like, nope, no voice acting.
Yeah. I'm glad you reminded me of that. Right. Like, it never 4 and 6 had one, so it was always particularly weird. I mean, this one was weird for a lot of reasons, including the dynamics
Hmm.
reason. But anyway, you remind me of why I never even pushed for my own game. Like I guess I just don't value voice acting that much. Not that I
Hmm.
don't mean that in like a shitty way, because when it's done, usually it's done right, especially nowadays, and it's fine and it's great. But like I just don't need it, and maybe I don't know. Maybe it's more than that, like appreciating the ability to put your own voice to characters or something. But because it has like nothing to do with. As a matter of fact, I said 3 and 5, right? So I'm picking like 2 without voice acting as favorites. Anyway,
Hmm.
so
But
did
yeah,
you?
they ran out of money. They ran out of, I mean, it's expensive and it was a big game and there was a lot of text. I mean, look at just one character's lines alone. Beatrice or somebody, right? It's a
Right.
lot.
Right. Did you voice her?
Oh, right. The no, what's her Flo? I
Okay.
was asked to, but something went on with the project, and something was in hiatus, and I was kind of just waiting. But I would love to, yes, or
Right.
to
Okay. So
continue that. I
there's
was offered the opportunity, though. Yes.
okay. Okay. So it's like a in hiatus might be done. Now I'm remembering. Right. It was
Hmm.
Trolls was trying to put together like a talkie version of it using the community. Right.
Which is
Okay.
amazing. I'm always
Yeah.
down if anybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I really need a voice actress for something that is learning how to voice actress."
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a call.
Um. And you played a little bit of it recently.
Yeah, I just literally this weekend I played through I don't know, probably about the first half of the game and fell in love with it. I forgot how much like the fantasy at the beginning, like I'm just like, where are we? Oh, right, he's a captain and all this. Oh, right, no, he's still in school. And then it just all the same feels I feel every time I play it. It surprises and delights me. The characters surprise and delight me. Everybody's so like rude to Roger. They're just like, who are you? You're a schmuck, right? Go mop up some dirt over here, wash boy. And
Right.
so like the transition and everything that happens with Beatrice and how it ends up culminating at the end was just one of the most satisfying endings in a game as well too, like which is I don't know, I guess probably why 6 might have pissed off a few people here and there, but yeah, I really like this game a lot.
Right. I could. Yeah. There's several points in there I want to just like jump onto and start going on, but I'll leave it for now. I'll just say okay. Okay. I'm not gonna leave it. We all knew I wasn't gonna leave it. Um.
No.
The I really like that Roger's given an opportunity to have a bit of a character arc in 5,
Hmm. Me too.
and even though even though he turns into something, yeah, even though he does something with his life, let's say he does it in a Roger way. He kind of half-asses, yeah, I mean, I could call it for what it is. He kind of cheats his way into it, right? And as far as like getting the position that he gets to, like he arrives to where he's at in a very Roger-like way, but it makes sense after 5 games that this guy would have
Hmm.
grown. That time would have passed in his world, and he would have grown, and he would have maybe started wanting better for himself and things like that. So I thought it was really cool that he got an arc, and I do like arc-wise what they did to him in 6. I didn't appreciate the whole Beatrice, like there was parts of 6 where you're just like, did they even play 5?
Hmm.
Like with what's her name with the hot dog looking forehead thing going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. I like the arc that he gets. It's very sad. Everything about this game is amazing except for the goddamn maze at the end.
Yeah, good
That
call.
sucks. But I'm willing to forget about that and give it a 10. All right, what's your score?
Well, first I'm going to read off the back of this box. It has this little section. It goes C, awesome 3D animation, scintillating, 256 color artwork, and asteroids, which is great. Feel the smooth shrink wrapped packaging included at no charge on every game.
Nice.
Hear the breathtaking original score and digitized sound so real you'll think you're on Xenon. Asterisk. The asterisk is requires sound card. The double asterisk is the planet, not the gas.
Beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? I'm laughing so hard. A 10 out of 10, man. This game is, even though it's not 4, it's 5, and I love it.
That sounds like something that would be on the box. Even though it's not 4, it's 5.
It's like an Al Lowe box statement in some way. Because what do they say about Mark on this one? Because he's a lone co-author of the 4 previous installments, flies solo as the designer of the latest adventure, but wait, where's the trademark Andromedan nose and mohawk? You'll read all about it in the latest issue of the Galactic Inquirer. Free copy inside.
Brilliant handoff. Love that
I
they're
love
selling
it.
you stuff that comes with it.
And this is just, there's so much information on one of these big boxes. I mean, it's a big box. There's a room for a lot of information, right?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you bringing these out because it helps me appreciate them and it gives me a fondness for them and for it's a shame because they're a casualty of time because
Mm-hmm.
even if you I don't know even if you get a physical box from Kickstarter we don't operate like that anymore, like it's, you know what I mean, it was just that time is, I think, kind of just past the time where you would hold a manual in your hands while the game was installing and like like it fit with the flow of
Mm-hmm.
playing the game, and now it's like, yeah, the argument you could look at the PDF on your phone while the game immediately loads because
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I don't know, I just think that train has passed and that's okay because that's how time works and innovation and all that, casualties of innovation. But point is that I'm glad that you're able to bring us back to those little, to what it felt
Mm-hmm.
like.
One of
um
the guilders of the Classic Gamers Guild, Kevin, he was mentioning that his son in a post has been really into the physical media and he's been going to bed and reading instruction manuals from computer games and from Mario games and all that stuff. And that's really the goodness. I mean, that's what you do, because you're not going to say to your kid, hey, take your digital book to bed on your phone and you can look at stuff about Mario. But as a parent, you're definitely going to say, oh, you want to take the book from the Mario game to bed? Go ahead. And it's got so much more fantasy in it.
right. Right. You're not going to look porn up on that, so you can have it.
Good luck, buddy. Wi-Fi is off for now.
Unnecessary to take it in that direction, but we did.
You know
Number
what?
10.
I'm
Oh,
almost wondering if I should put a number in for the one I didn't play in, because I don't want Quest for Glory or Equal Quest to rank super low because only one of us graded it. So either we have to both rank it or we have to leave them out entirely.
yeah.
Otherwise, it
I
just, yeah, that's a, I don't know. What do you think?
I think we leave them out.
Okay, we'll do that. It'll make the numbers easier at the end. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that what we're saying isn't important. So, Paul, what do you have to say about EcoQuest 2, The Lost Secret of the Rainforest from 1993?
Oh, shucks. Okay. Well, I mean, that this game has no business being as good as it is. Yeah. That's the best way to put. I should just stop exactly there, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna. It's because again, it's not a kid's game if you don't want it to be. Like, it's a competent adventure game. You know what it is? I think because when Sierra was designing games for kids, they actually tried to have no bullshit involved. They didn't want kids getting walking dead ends and soft locks and things like that. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Actually, maybe that's what gives it a almost Lucas vibe. Like, you feel like you're in good hands, and they're not going to screw you. Even though there is, ironically, there is a dead end in EcoQuest One. Damn it, I said Eco. Um,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The time has passed for that. Point is, Echo Quest 2, it's a good story. Adam and his dad show up in the rainforest. Adam gets separated from his dad. I'm not reading this off a thing. I wish I was, because then I could continue past this part, which I can't. They end up there and they're separated, and you're a kid. You're lost in the rainforest, and you got to make your way back while picking up, I don't know, soda can rings or some shit to clean up the environment on your way. Um, Anyway, it's one of those games I would nudge people to play if you haven't. If you've played all the Sierra games and you've ran out of stuff to play the Phantom Fellows. But if you've already played that, then play Echo Quest 2 because it's a
Oh my God,
surprisingly
do we
good
need
time.
to do an episode about this? Because I've never played it. And then we're going to do an episode about Conquest of Camelot because you've never played it. Is
Oh,
that going to happen?
yeah, thank God too, right? It's so nice. 200 some
Yeah.
episodes to have a damn game to play that's fresh. But anyway, Echo Quest 2, I feel like it's a more competent game than Echo Quest 1, but I can't put my finger on why, so I'm just going to give it an 8 also.
Okay.
Not that it matters. Okay.
No.
Yeah. And now I'm going to hand over to Anna for Quest for Glory 1 or Heroes Quest, depending on,
It's
let's.
this box.
Oh wait, it's oh shit, hold on. Is it?
It's the remake. It's the VGA remake of Quest for Glory.
So it has to be. Yeah, it's not Heroes Quest. Damn it! It is.
It is
Quest
Quest
for
for
Glory
Glory.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes with the famous Adventurers Correspondence School and some of the same documentation as the first one, but with an extra book to explain the point and click dynamic. And I was super excited for this game because I was obsessed with Quest for Glory 1. I knew that because it was not a parser game and I could just point and click, that I would be able to see and hear every interaction that I had missed. I was excited to hear that there was a few they even added in that weren't in the first one. Like there's a scene where you see Earl from the dinosaur show kind of going home with his lunchbox off in the forest and you get the little music from it. There's all these like funny little in jokes and stuff. So I was just like, I'm going to play this game and I get to see everything I missed from playing the other version because that was the best thing about it. It's not my favorite of the two. Like I don't like it as much as the first one, but I love it for what it is and what it represented. And I can't even tell you how many friends of mine that love the series, this is their favorite first one in the series, and then they go straight from this to the ADG interactive remake of the second one, and then you go straight into Wages of War as the third one. So you don't actually need to use the parser at all. But anyways, it's a nice point and click about the game. Fun fact: if you attack the Antwerp, he'll go up into the air and he'll land on you and kill you. He'll squash you. And if you raise your sword up at exactly the right time when he's above your head, you can bust him into a whole bunch of tiny Antwerps. So cool fact.
Love it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, even though it's a VGA, because not that it matters, but there it is.
Man, your brain was just firing off. Like I could hear the stimulation, like just the excitement, and it was, it's nice. It's infectious. When you hear somebody that just loves the thing they're talking about, it doesn't even matter what they're talking about because you're just so happy that they're happy about it like that.
Aw, that's nice. So now here, this box that you hear me wrestling away actually has Lori and Corey's signature on it from 2019. I stayed in an Airbnb with them, and I've got this great picture of all of us nerds sitting at their feet as they sit in this chair and they're talking to all of us like we're school kids. We're all looking up at them with awe. It was just the coolest experience. Leading right into Quest for Glory 3, that's this box you hear now. Which is also signed. And okay, this is another one of those fun ones because when it first came out, I didn't like it as much because it didn't have very much to do with the thief. It was very heavily story orientated. And anyways, it wasn't my favorite, but of course now it's definitely one of my favorites. I was also mad at it because when you traveled over the overworld map, the time went really fast, but they also did that in 5, and I don't hate it in 5, so I can't hate it here either. But the book is beautiful. The famous Explorer's Correspondence course, it's textured and it's just such a nice book, and it's fun because as a hero, you've literally learned from home to become a hero. Everything you've done has been through the mail and through correspondence, and really the only thing you've been able to do to be a hero is to become a hero by being a hero. And I think the coolest thing about this game is what I've learned about it through the speedrunning community. The one Short Eyes video, sorry to bring him up again, but the one about Quest for Glory 3 being one of the more broken games it's amazing because there's this one where you're going with Rakesh and you're going to the Simbani village, and if you're able to click the mouse, I think it was David or one of David, I think, that figured this one out. And then if you click the mouse at the right place at the right time, you completely skip going with your escort to the Simbani village. And I'm not going to tell you the rest of what happens after that. You need to go out and find the video, but it is amazing. You're just going to be, if you're like me, you're going to be on the floor either in amazement or incredulous laughter. It is just the best thing ever. So yeah, no, 10 out of 10 again. 10. I'm writing it down.
Dude, you're bringing your word game with you. Incredulous. You're just just on it today. Okay, so we're gonna tell you how stuff would all happen back there. This is the results, everybody. So
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah, this is a countdown from 8 to 1. Maybe we should have done half scores.
Yeah, because we're going to have a lot of ties because of no.
Yeah, a lot of 10s. Okay, all right. Number 8 is Leisure Suit Larry 5. That comes in with an average score of 6, which I was going to say sounds right, but of course I would say that we just gave it a 6. Number 7 is Police Quest 3 with a score of 7.
Mhm.
I don't know why I thought that would be higher, even though, again, I gave it a 7. Number 6 is King's Quest 6. This comes in with a score of 7.5. Ooh, Anna and I deferred on that one. So that's neat. Number 5 is King's Quest 5. This is weird, right? They're lining up with their numbers a little bit. This got a score of 8. So again, that's good. That makes things that are different about our show sometimes, like how Monkey Island scored just super average in the Lucas rankings. King's Quest 5 beats King's Quest 6. Number 4 is Conquest of the Longbow with an average score of 9. It was almost an 8.5, but it's a 9. and then we have a 3-way tie for first, which is Space Quest 5, Dagger von Mon-Ra, and Space Quest 4.
Woohoo! Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty satisfying because we have a few other things to cover. We made an announcement in our Patreon that anybody that commented would get a copy of the Phantom Fellows soundtrack. That has not expired. If you haven't put your comment in yet, put it in and we'll talk to you. But we did get some fantastic little and very positive comments from some of our listeners.
Oh, very cool. And okay, so look, I said some things back there. In that post, I said that we are going to do a giveaway in the next show, but we're not because I'm not prepared. It's Monday. This comes out tomorrow. You guys get it. I think genuinely you do. The game just came out Friday. It's been put a little too much on my plate there, thinking I'd be able to put together a giveaway.
No,
so
I think
quickly.
people love it. That's why I brought it up. There is time. You can still get in there, get your name in, and be patient with us. We'll be patient with you.
Yeah, or don't be. Yell at us violently and in public. That's fine too. But the soundtrack thing goes anytime. Just leave a comment in the Patreon thing, or just tell us anywhere at all. Just be like, soundtrack me. Hit me with give me the thing. Trying to think of a way for you guys to say where you don't have to say give me, because I know some of us, including myself, get weird about that. Like, give me thing. So just, be like, hey, soundtrack.
Soundtrack me.
Yeah, soundtrack.
Soundtrack me.
And anywhere on our socials, and I'll get you a key to download the soundtrack. Like I said in the post, there's 12 tracks, making it statistically probable that you'll like one of them. So there's that. To anybody who's buying and playing the game, thank you and I love you. Go to thephantompost.com where you can get all the links nice and easily. But it's on GOG, it's on Steam, it's on itch.io, and it's on Fireflower. I'm going to try and just give everybody a week or two before I start harassing you guys for reviews, but leave a review. And, and I think that's all for me.
Okay, well, I do want to say thank you. We have a couple of new Patreoners. We have Emil Levin, who is a game designer, actually, as well, and a solo dev that has games out there in the world and has followed us along for a long time and had specific, really, really nice things to say about the making of the Phantom Fellows episode. So thank you so much for being a super fan. I really appreciate you.
Same.
And Monkey Toupee as well. Thank you for joining us on this wild journey. And Matt, there's, you have you guys, I don't even have words to say how cool it is that you guys have jumped on the Patreon team. So thank you so much for that. And of course, Gareth and Mick, Michael Council, and Brian Manown, Jay Holmes, Jeffrey Couch, Mark Fillion, Tim Ellis, all of you as well. Just your continued support means a lot. Another month goes by and y'all haven't canceled yet. That must mean something. and I really appreciate the heck out of it. And I'm glad we haven't offended you in a while. So, or maybe we have, and that's you do this because you like being offended. I don't know, but thank you is my point. It's appreciated. It pays for our hosting. I'm eventually going to be looking at upgrading my microphone. I've been rocking the same microphone for the last couple of years, and things that like that always make it more possible for us to just enhance the content of the podcast and focus a little bit more on quality. And so thank you, and thank you again.
Here. Yeah. I want to say too, with that giveaway thing I mentioned earlier, we are gonna do that going forward though. So basically, in these 2 weeks off, like I'm gonna order some merch to give away, and then we're just gonna have, I don't know, like AI or some sort of way of randomly generating patrons.
Wheel. I use Wheel.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do that, and then we'll give away merch that way. And then the other thing I wanted to tag on to that with the Phantom Fellows thing is just to say that, like, I'm not gonna be very good at selling and like buy my game. I'm more, if I had to pick what I like, what I would want to ask you guys of it would be to say that if you play the game and you have fun, tell me. That would mean more than like one extra person buying it. Like, I'd rather just know that who is playing it is having fun. So, if you play it and you have fun with it, let me know, because they'll do me a smile.
Yeah, it definitely will do me a smile too. That's the good stuff. And so far people have been very kind. It's always hard putting something you've made out there because you don't know how other people are going to take it. And especially being a solo dev, and you don't have like a gigantic team of 30 people coming up to you and telling you this, that, and the other about it, but you do have a team of beta testers and friends that have really helped make that happen. And I just want to take a minute too to say thank you yet again and a million times over to some of the most helpful and amazing beta testers that I've ever encountered for somebody. You pick a really good team, Paul.
Well, thank you, and you helped me pick. I think you might have actually picked the team more or less. Like,
Shit, I was complimenting myself. Oh no!
I see what you did there. Very clever. I know. And as you're saying, I'm like, do I name names off? Because then I might accidentally forget one. But
we'll forget one.
Yeah, right.
But you're all super amazing, and you're gonna find out there's secrets in the works. You'll see. It's cool. You'll see.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, there are reasons. We are super stoked, and you will know that we are super stoked. He is super stoked. So, anyways. Outside of that, you know what? Thanks for yet again, for whatever reason, coming back and listening to us talk at you. We really appreciate it. Please wish list the adventure game, The Phantom Fellows. Please leave a review and a nice comment, like Paul says. The reviews are a big one, though, because the more positive reviews that he can get there on Steam, the more the algorithm is going to send people there. So, even just a few words, if you liked it, hopefully if you liked it, then, throw something in there.
See, that's funny. I was like, I'm not gonna beg reviews that, and then it turns out we're good cop, bad copying it because I'm having Anna do it.
It's all about the algorithms, though, and this is a game made by one person, as you know, the music, the writing, the graphics and design, all the same one person who all the while is being a single dad and not just sharing that time, but being a full on 100% everything teacher and father and creator. So it's just all super amazing. So get out there and support his ability to keep doing that, because we all want more games. And outside of that, check out the Adventure Game Hotspot. We'll have all the links to everything everybody's doing there in the comments. They are all amazing and creative and wonderful people that Paul and I have learned so much from, and we're just so happy to be connected with that community. Say hi to us on Twitter at CGG Podcast or at the Phantom Fellows. Give us an email, mail@cggpodcast.com. I've already talked about Patreon. It's the Classic Gamers Guild. Find us on there. Say hello. We're also a Facebook page and a group, the Classic Gamers Guild Podcast and the Classic Gamers Guild. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Thank you.
Nice. Also, in a weird twist of events, check out our rival podcast, the Adventure Game Podcast, run by Sersha, who is an absolute gentleman. And I did. He was really cool and had me on his show, like immediately, like right before release. Like he fit me right in as soon as I asked. And it turns out that he's been a listener of this show for a long time, and we're just adorably admirers of each other's show. His show is the competent version of ours. They do like
It
reviews
is.
and interviews and
Oh, and the interviews are great, and so many. Paul and I are like one interview a month max, and then we don't even make that. But these guys are out there on the indie scene and absolutely crushing it with the community, with awards, with engagement, with actual factual information, going out there on site and doing things in person at events. Like, if you haven't listened to these guys yet, you need to.
yeah. I'm pretty sure like all of you have, or it's like by no means have you like not
Probably.
heard of it, let's say in this circle, but just in case, check out the Adventure Game Podcast, because they are awesome. And then otherwise, just don't do murder. Yeah, there's this like this this excitement to like the next like the sentence is getting away from you. It's already
It's like falling in love, right? All of those feelings. It's just so
oh
good.
man, yeah, cheese Louise.